Someone's doing some weird shit? Alright.
Yep.
Slowly everyone is leaving chat.
No, I'm here.
Hello.
Hi! I just heard him.
Who?
Heard who?
The Spanish guy. The Spain guy.
Yep, he's here.
Alright, good. Good.
It's Zaravilla?
Is it me, or
Zarabla?
does Alex
Larabak?
have one hell of an echo?
Me?
I think yours is pretty bad too.
Wait, do I have an echo?
What?
Or do I have an incredible sound and voice?
No, you don't have an echo, Turk.
Of course I don't. Oh yeah.
Do I have an echo?
Yeah, but
No, you're
Yes,
good.
you
yeah.
do.
I can hear you guys perfectly, so it's all good.
your voice is beautiful as always, Turk. Don't worry.
Well, thank you. Alright, so, I've already started recording, so hello everybody. You know who
How
I
you
am?
guys doing? It's only been 4 days.
It's only been 4 days, but, you know, there's a lot of stuff that went on, so, yeah.
I'm the guy that had the most shit happen in the last 4 days, and I can't even be in this call.
Okay.
Call will be long enough for you to come in. I mean, the main ordeal of the call is because...
It's gonna be like it's gonna be a 2-hour video then, because I'm not home for another hour and 20 minutes.
Oh, shit.
At work. Well, I just got off. My hands are turning to icicles.
Oh, come on.
I mean, well,
Where do you
we can
live?
always have a call later on. Like, on Wednesday. No, not Wednesday. Like, Friday or Saturday.
New Year's Day.
You do understand that the amount of crap I'm gonna be spending the entire video on Friday talking.
I'll do one
Well,
on Wednesday, okay?
the thing-
Fair enough. I'll
Alright.
get my first one out on Fallout on Wednesday.
WarCity can make his... Wait, what's your channel name?
My channel name's WarCityDriver, and today I'm probably gonna get out some of my basic game mechanic videos.
Alright, good.
Well, the thing is, Dessa already normally uses up all the time in the video.
Yeah,
So...
he usually just eats all the freaking videos.
Yep, that's my secret, is I'm the only one talking on mine. At least for
Well,
game
but,
mechanics.
Yeah, I used to do that, but then people wanted to be in videos.
Yeah.
That's what
Dang
mutants
cat.
do, though. They dominate and they eat everything.
I dominate. Eat my subs. I have like 68 subs now. But enough about my subs. Since that's just you guys. Let's get into the Fallout roleplay, guys.
Alright, so who wants to go first? This whole video's purpose was because we needed to explain storylines for everyone else who doesn't have time or doesn't want to read articles.
Well, I would suggest starting with Spain because he's been undercovered in all previous videos.
Yeah.
Alright.
Alright, so Spain first. Come on now.
Spain?
Spain.
Hola.
But-
Spain. Alright, so...
Okay, so I
Oh.
guess I'll just read it.
Alright, go ahead.
A message from God Save the Queen 007, aka the Spain guy, who was too pussy to let others hear his college voice. So this is the plot line of Spain so far, as well as the background. There are two Spains. There's one conventionalist, I can't read, and then there's one royalist. Spain was ruled by the Bourbon kings peacefully, even though the economy was shit. Spain had a leader named Alfonso. He assassinated a political rival, Yarvan. Yeah, is that right? Yarvan? Harvan?
Jarvan Alvarez.
Yeah, there we go, that. The third. The son survived, who led a revolution 12 years ago. Say it again?
Jarvan Alvarez.
The fourth. AKA J4. Had a daughter. Say it again.
Alexandria Alvarez.
There we go.
Yeah, because in Spanish doesn't mix well.
Falk is my accent. There we go. The mother was assassinated when the daughter was 3, reigniting the civil war 12 years ago. J4 raised armies, and 2 years ago... What fell?
Malaga.
There we go. Whatever. Close enough. Malaga fell, and that was the last bastion of conventionalist power. The people at Malaga evacuated to Portugal, where J4 and forces followed, causing a Spanish versus Portuguese war. The Portuguese became vassalized. J4 reigned for a whole year while the conventionalists escaped to Africa. Alfonso and his father, the king,
Alexandria.
there we go, now 24, and the captain in the ranks, goes on a ship to South America. A training exercise reveals the 3 other characters.
General Parma, Capitán Bermúdez, and Sargento Fernández.
Alright. She leaves on the 9th month. Alfonso returns on the 10th month of J4's reign, after his father dies. He was the prince, now the king. They land in Palma. After J4's inaction, the French government attacks them as Alfonso gives them valuable information. J4 charges historically in mass and dies in a big battle.
Heroically.
Oh, damn. Oh. Well, yeah, heroically in mass and dies in a big battle. It's too bad for him. Alfonso takes control. Supporters of J4 die. Alexandria witnesses a coup in the ship she is in. The HMS... What?
Conquistador.
There we go.
Conquistador.
An explosion rocks the ship as General Parma leaves the ship to be abandoned. The rudder struck on a collision course with Africa. They land in Africa a month later, specifically in Nigeria. Intense fighting against mutants with rumors of super mutants. Of the 1,000 people they brought, 400 of them are dead. They found local tribes and allies of the within the region, and are able to reestablish a capital and teach the natives their culture. Also, they secure their defenses. They find diaries on what caused FEV, the forced evolutionary virus, which is in Fallout. The scientists are exposed to it, and they find power armor left by the British in a vault, and a crumb trail leading to the Mauritanian vault. There we go. There's a vault in Mauritania? I didn't even know that. Holy crap, so much stuff. You want to continue, Falk?
All right. Where did you leave? All right. They sent Sargento Fernandez and Capitán Bermúdez to a vault to go to the Mauritania vault. They rescue the scientists by boat, but the rest of the civilians and soldiers have to march back to Nigeria. They happen to discover an old nuclear power plant and try to clear out the mutant inhabitants. Sargento Fernandez leads the assault, but the cooling tower collapses on them. FEV infects Sargento Fernandez, sole survivor of the 24-man team. He becomes a super mutated. He is kept alive due to orders of Capitán Alexandria, as he can be the ambassador to the fellow mutants in Africa. However, he is slowly losing his human side and becoming more mutant. Meanwhile, Capitán Alexandria, leader, remains in the capital of Nigeria, Spain, worried about the coming European powers. Capitán Bermúdez might have a fondness for Capitán Alexandria. Don't know if he'll implement in the future posts. White mutants take over most of Niger, Alexandria, and 300 Spanish survivors with 2,000 Nigerians move to German territory. German leader John advises them to return to Spain. Parma arrives, the general who explains what happened. Alfonso is now mad, imposed military law, crazy, and says fuck. He begs Alexandria to return, but they need a ship. Kevin's love. Read that shit. Kevin's love. Turkish life.
Yeah. Damn, that's actually really nice.
That is a pretty good storyline. I am really sorry I've missed so much.
That last bit was cop-out. That's not everything that happened. There was rape. There was killing. There was 2,000 people that died.
Yeah, well, the whole
Yes,
thing
now we're
about
having to reinvent the counselor in Germany because of you. Thanks, Des.
All right.
Shit.
What?
So that's actually pretty friggin' amazing. But we should move on to Germany now, because Germany has had an impact in the entire world, and we cannot ignore that. So we go to Germany now.
That the entire world is going to have an impact on him. A very sensitive place.
Yeah, because the thing is, Germany is everywhere, and
Yep.
everywhere is going to attack Germany.
I don't know about that. One, Gunther worth way more than it will take to take it. Just look at the air base there.
Yeah, I think Gunther will be like your safe haven if you lose everything in Europe and Africa.
No, Gunther will be Chinese.
Maybe.
I just see Germany getting reduced to the Gunther Islands in an exile government.
Yeah, I mean, I
Well-
didn't see. Okay, it can be done again.
I don't think that'll happen.
I don't think so
I
either.
think people misunderestimate.
Yeah, I don't think so either. I mean, I had the second strongest ability to produce mechs in the world. So my force, I may have lost a lot of infantry, but I've yet to lose a single mech, and I keep pumping out at least 5 a day.
Well, So it's your turn, Alex. If you want to explain the storyline for everyone who has missed articles.
Yep. So pretty much right now, I'll start out with the political overview, but basically tensions rose between the Eastern coalitions and the European coalition when FOG in White Ruthenia traded 120,000 tons of nuclear energy, aka oil, to Russian Yakuta. That turned relations almost to the point of war. Now that things have restabilized, there's a meeting that's going to happen. I'm sorry, I haven't gotten around to posting that yet, but basically relations between the EU and Russian Yakutia are warming back up. If you move further back into the south of Germany, into the region of Africa, right now the Iroquois arc is starting to close to an end as they start closing in on the major strongholds and forts. They're starting to rebuild. They're basically a whole bunch of stuff's going on there. In addition, Sergeant Lane from France basically is going to be getting married to Zach Rommel in the near future. Woohoo. Let's see here. Nothing really going on in the South American colonies. Those are pretty boring. Gunther is now a world-class science facility studying all kinds of kind of like, you know how back like modern day we'll go into Amazon and we'll find all these funky plants we never knew existed to heal cancer. Same kind of thing.
About to pass it. It's coming up.
And then let's see here. So that's that. France, same general kind of thing. They're expanding. Raw is probably going into a bit of depression. Hooray. Let's see here. And Sudan is currently falling to the NGR and the Kingdom of God. And John's moving over into German Nambia, and now we're trying to find a new place for Norway because Mozambique just expanded where Norway was originally planning to go. That's probably going to wind up being South Africa now.
At this rate.
No. Norway and I are we're gonna split up Cameroon and Angola.
Okay.
That's it. And we've hired the help of the Scots. We've hired the help of the Brotherhood of Steel. I'll get to that in a minute. Actually, it's still your turn.
Yep. I mean, let's see here. So there's that, and then article-wise,
like talk about your characters. Talk about the overall story arc that you're carrying. That's the main purpose. Like,
okay.
the thing about Fallout is that every week video we've talked about territorial changes and building tensions, but we've never actually been able to dedicate time to characters and what actually is the most beautiful part of this role play, that there's a lot of character and personality in it, and a lot of people are making bad tactical mistakes because that's what characters who have flaws would do.
Okay. Well, I'll definitely be happy to do that. So first on the list will probably be John Rommel, and I'll just go into Germany's kind of backstory here. But before 2300, when the worldwide communication was reestablished, Germany was ruled what was called the German Imperium under Jack Blisstift.
Mm-hmm.
And the NGR basically was forced into Austria-Hungary. They were exiled. About 5-10 years later, they came back. They found that Germany was in a state of civil war because, well, Jack ruled with an iron fist, did not pay off. Long story short, they helped basically rebel and win back the new German Republic. With the new German Republic back under John's control, he started basically rebuilding Germany as strong as he could. He put emphasis on rebuilding the economy, building factories, workshops, building businesses. He kept trying to bring back education, and he's finally starting to be able to do that now that he has the resources from all the German colonies going pretty much feeding Germany. Aside from that is going to be his son, Zach Rommel, who's kind of been the one that's always been leading the front in Germany's recent military conquest as the 6th Fallschirmjäger Regiment, now division. And they're basically what they are is probably the world's most advanced paratrooper unit. One of the few countries who are able to actually deploy them, and they've actually innovated it in their military doctrine now. Because one of the deadliest parts of a paratrooper is when they're first landing on the ground. That's because they have to land limp, get the parachute off, don't get tangled up in the parachute, and get out of the enemy's line of fire as quickly as possible. The Germans found a way around this by adding shock resistant padding into their leg of their armor so that they can cut the paratroop about 10 feet off the ground. They can land, run, get out from under the parachute, and pretty much hit the ground running compared to struggling to just get out of their chute.
That is actually pretty ingenious. I'm surprised you actually took that much dedication to design a
doesn't
weapon.
matter when
amazing.
doesn't matter when your super mutant leader can jump 20 feet in the air. Doesn't matter.
Yeah, that's why we have a lot of training and a lot of snipers and a lot of light tanks for.
Listen.
In the air.
It'll be like this, Deso. It'll be super mutants versus one single soldier of Germany who is going to end up being One Punch Man.
Yeah, I mean, I can believe that. Alex seems like the type to do that.
No. I mean, the armor's good, but it's not going to take more than 1 or 2 punches from a super
All
mutant.
right, then I will take up One Punch Man. And I will just have a single dude go up and conquer the whole, or conquer countries.
Hawshire, don't fuck up when you're trying to explain what's happening to the Nigerians. Remember, lots of rape, lots of cannibalism. Remember that.
Yes, and again, Germany's having to reinvent the counselor and therapist because of you, Des. Thanks a lot.
You'll have to reinvent a lot of things.
All right, is that it?
Well, I think that covers the basics. Last but not least, Johanna, she hasn't really popped up any articles, but she is a big part of what's going on in the North, dealing with the diplomacy with, like, the Scandinavians. Mm-hmm. She's kind of Germany's foreign minister, so she has the authority to act with the full will of Germany. When John is, like, at the front lines leading from the front, because that's where, better for worse, he likes to lead his armies. And that's it.
All right.
I'm done.
All right, so who's next? Who would like to speak next? Does John Rommel bang Joanna?
No, he does not.
Damn.
But I will drive everyone crazy and few with Spain. We'll just say that.
All right.
All right then. So, Shane, are you still there, Shane?
Yep.
All right. Republic of God's turn.
Well, it's actually the Republic of the Brotherhood now.
Oh, now it's the Republic. Right. Remember. Now it's Brotherhood of Steel.
Over in one article.
So basically, Elder Cornelius, who used to be General Cornelius, who launched the Civil War after the Senate ordered the death of all the mutants and the ghouls throughout the Republic of God and in Yemen. He led the Civil War and became essentially like a dictator, but he wasn't a bad dictator. He was a good dictator. And essentially his background is he was a Brotherhood of Steel scribe, and he was sent to Europe to gather as much technology and information and archives that he could. But through bureaucracy and certain things, the powers in Europe didn't really take to the Brotherhood of Steel. So he went to the Republic of God, which is based solely on recovering artifacts, historical relics, religious relics, and the such. So he found a home there, and he essentially built up a Brotherhood of Steel. What is it called? Chapter in the Republic of God and essentially just took over because so many people liked them and all the ghouls and mutants liked them. So he basically took over.
Mm-hmm.
And right now, that's pretty much it. It was just the revolution, and now they're just expanding. We're just expanding into
Sudan.
pirate territory. They're pirates in Somalia.
Could the Brotherhood
Remember,
of Steel
kids,
perhaps...
Brotherhood of Steel are a bunch of Hitler wannabes, according to Fallout 4. Remember that, kids. Remember that.
And
You say that
essentially, what
because...
proved him to get the chapter up and running, what proved himself, he had to prove himself when the Brotherhood sent him, and he proved himself taking Cairo in the Battle of the Suez Canal, when he led the attack and defeated the aliens and sent them back into the skies. He captured a lot of alien blasters and alien technology that he sent back to the Brotherhood of Steel chapters in the Caribbean islands and South America. And then he was granted permission to set up the chapter in the Republic of God and complete the transition from the Senate-run Republic of God over to Brotherhood of Steel.
You forgot the super mutant king that you murdered, you animal.
He didn't.
Murdered him.
That's why he took over.
You animal. Murdered him.
Mutants are not people. They're weak.
Argue that what about John and all my Bashutsas and Yagas? They're all basically mutated to be oriented for combat. So are you calling my leadership all non-human scum bags who deserve to die now, Turk? Better watch out there, buddy.
All non-humans
you gotta find out that in Europe that the only purely human supremacist nation is Scotland, which I don't understand.
Scotland got fucked up by super mutants.
Sort of doesn't surprise
twice.
me.
And now Scotland is the super mutants' diplomatic whore.
Pretty much. So I suppose it's my turn.
Kind of like a buffer state. No, they're kind of like a buffer state now.
They are a buffer state. That's why I let them have Greenland. I don't want to fight you first. I want to have time to prepare. And if Scotland takes damage in the meantime, so bad.
You have no time to prepare.
You want me to put an image of iceberg?
Yeah, I mean, if I see if war breaks out, it's going to first be Africa, and then it's going to be the buffer state of Scotland.
Yep, buffer state. That's all it is.
All right.
Anyways, suppose it's my turn unless Kevster wants to talk.
Kevster doesn't talk. he just messages.
He just messages. Alrighty then. So let's see how I can resume this in 2 words. All right. So the Nordland was just a whole bunch of tribes. Sweden got hit pretty hard from the apocalypse, but not
I have to
because of the
interject
nukes.
for just a second. Hoshar, just text me when my turn is up. Bye.
All right.
I got you.
So the thing is, it's not because Sweden got hit directly by nuclear weapons. It's that the bunkers and all the vaults were poorly designed, and we had multiple disease outbreaks within the vaults of Stockholm and Gothenburg. So people were forced out into the fallout just barely 30 years after the bombs fell. So the population has been dwindling between 20 to 30,000 for a long time, but finally, after an event called the First Rain, the Swedish naturally adapted and mutated, not terribly, but just enough. Like there's tougher skin, excess of tissue, and other mutations necessary to survive the cold and the weather. So the Nordlands are basically somewhere between humans and super mutants. But the thing is that we don't live long. We tend to suffer from a lot of tumors and cancer, and we normally die around the age of 40. Sweden has been reduced to tribalism for a long time, just barely, at the start of the game. it was customary for the Swedes to try to work together to bring food for everyone in the nation. But for the first time, we got in contact with the Germans, and a unifying leader called Freyr. He rose and he tried to unify all of Sweden under one banner, and he tried to make friends with the Germans. And there were people who didn't want to make friends with the Germans. And then the thing is, Germany introduced Sweden to the outside world. And what's the first thing the Swedes did? Well, we went out and invaded everyone we could. But the thing is that Sweden had been used by Norway and Scotland. Sweden had been used to invade Ireland, England, the Red Sun Empire, and Baffin. We took most of the casualties, we did most of the killing, and we also did most of the dying. So that caused a lot of resentment among most of the Jarls, and Freyr just wanted to keep everyone together, and he ended up giving a lot of territory to both Scotland and Norway, which is why Sweden, despite being militarily successful in all of her campaigns so far, we're still the weakest superpower in the world. So it ended up that when Freyr died, there was a succession crisis, and a bastard out of a man who had 15 concubines named Rudolph Jingling, just for the holidays. He is based off that. Rudolph led most of the military campaigns, and he became extremely popular with the army, the mob of irregulars and mercenaries that is pretty much the Swedish army. And he took the throne of Sweden by force. He killed the heir that Freyr had placed in the throne. He's killed so far. He killed the king of Norway. He killed Eric the Blood Axe. He killed he killed Dane and Valin, which were very prominent jarls within Sweden. Then they led the navy, and now he has control of the navy. So he's going to be very selective with who he trades. Because before, I just traded with anyone. I even traded with mutants. I didn't care because there was no unifying force. I could trade with my enemies because there was no central form of power in Sweden. Now there is, because Rudolf has formed the Fylkeret, which is pretty much the Scandinavian Empire, out of a wave of bloodshed. He's killed thousands of Norwegians. He's forced thousands of Swedish who were disloyal to him to die in battle, and everyone else who survived just got banished to Africa. Now we have Norway under a thumb as a vassal. Scotland is wary. He's the enlightened one. He's suspicious of Rudolph. Rudolph is doing his best to try to pass as least suspicious as he can, but he's a paranoid fuck. He does not trust anyone. Mutants did not take Rudolph's money. The thing is, this is for you, Spain. All of these poor civilians that got kicked out of Norway, they all had about 0.2 silver with them. And when they reached Africa, they offered it to the Spaniards, and the Spaniards mutants simply just took it and ran away. They didn't offer a fuck. So the refugees, they called the French and the Scottish, and the French were like, okay, we're gonna help the refugees. And the leader of the refugees is Jorun. I have yet to introduce her, but she'll pretty much be my role in Africa. She's very pacifist, and I will try to play her as a completely separate nation from Sweden. So if she gets annexed, it's okay, and if I get annexed in Sweden, it's okay. I have land in Africa. I will